Hello everyone, welcome to AlgoGAN. In today's video, we will see how to save the state of an activity. As part of it, we will see what is the state of an activity and what are the different ways to save the state of an activity. So let's go back to the activity lifecycle diagram. Here, as shown in the last video, so here is the life cycle of an activity. When activity gets destroyed, on destroy of the activity gets called. But in some cases where the activity is killed because of the configuration changes or because of low memory, in those cases there is another method called onSaveInstanceState gets called. This method is a way for the activity to save the state, so that it can restore to the same state when it gets launched next time. So this method gets called normally after onStop and but before onDestroy. Let's quickly go through the example to understand it a bit more. There is another thing. There is another way to save the state as well. Broadly, to save the state of an activity, we can either use ViewModels or we can override onSaveInstanceState. ViewModels are like you basically you don't store anything within the activity, you store everything in another class called ViewModel, and you make there is a way system will not kill that view model whenever the activity gets destroyed, and it just gives you back the same view model whenever activity is recreated. But like that generally is used for the activities that do server communication or do lot of file IO operations. Like instead of losing the state completely, the data completely, they store everything in that view model and restore it back. In simple applications, we can use onSaveInstanceState. That's what we are gonna look at it today. To demonstrate the state of an activity and how to save it, let's create a simple application. So here is the app that we used in the last video to see the lifecycle methods. So here, if you see the layout, I've removed everything and kept only a single text view here. I'm going to display a number in this text view. So let me rename it to something that's more relevant, or I'll call it a counter. Okay. So let me display something very simple here. I'll display a number, binding dot. So let me run it and see what it displays. Here the activity got launched. I've just added another constraint here to display it at the center. So let's rerun it. It should be a quick one this time. Yeah, the 10 got displayed here. So as of now there is no state here to save. Let's do something. Let's run a counter and see if it changes, and we'll try to save the counter and try to resume the counter whenever we come back to the activity again. So to run the counter, I'm gonna use something called handler. This is a easy way to post something to the main thread again and again without creating a new thread. So let me have a handler first. So now we have a handler, so I will post something to the main thread. So let me create a runnable here. Here I've created a runnable object that can be used to post via handler. So Let's try to update this text view with a counter. So let me create a counter variable here. uh, so let me create a variable, private var counter with let's say 0. So now so we have a handler here, so I'm going to post this runnable to that handler. Runnable here in the runnable. So what happens is this handler will post this runnable to the same main thread. So this is gonna run on the main thread itself, this runnable. So let me update the text view now with the counter value. So I'll increase the counter by 1, and then I'll update the text view. Binding dot tv counter dot text. So let me update with the counter value. Yeah. So let me remove the 10 from here. We don't need it. Now it's going to update the counter. It's going to increase the counter value and update the text view. So but it's going to do it only once, so we want to do it again and again. So I'm gonna post another runnable from the from this runnable here. So handler dot post. So I'm gonna add some delay so that we will see a nice increment counter. So post delete. So this is the same runnable, and I'm gonna delete by, let's say, 1 second. And there is one thing we should do with updating the UI. We should not do it after on destroy. So in the on destroy, I'll make sure I'm not gonna post any more runnables to the main thread. So let me remove this handler dot. So this will remove everything that's in the queue for this main thread and for this handler. Don't have to give anything specific, so null is enough. So this call will make sure that after on destroy we won't post anything to the main thread using this handler. So let me run this code. I think this should be enough for our little demonstration. So you see this counter being increased, nice increment in the counter. So let's try to do something. Let's see what happens if I rotate the device. You see the counter, it started from 1 again. It's because this activity got destroyed and recreated, and whenever a new object is created, the value of the counter got reset to 0. So I'm gonna do it again. See, it's again reset to 0. So how? So this is a small example, but in reality you will have like many variables that you wanna save in the activity, and you want to make sure that they don't get reset to zeros or nulls whenever activity gets recreated. So for that we're going to use something called SaveInstanceState. So there is another method in the activity lifecycle that's called onSaveInstanceState. What it does is, so there are two methods, we don't need this one. So this method gets called whenever system is recreating the activity. So there is a difference between activity user destroying the activity and system recreating for various other purposes. One of them is orientation change, but it can happen for any number of reasons, like because of low memory, because of font change, because of display density change. So there can be many reasons why activity can be restarted by the system. So in those cases, system gives an opportunity to the activity to save its state. So this onSaveInstanceState gets called only in those cases, not every time an activity. For example, when you press back key, so that's on purpose. So the user wants that activity to be destroyed. So in those cases, this onSaveInstanceState won't get called. So here, so let me uh, so yeah, here, so what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna save the state of this activity. So as of now, we don't have any other variables, so we have only counter. So let me save the counter. So we need to, there is a bundle here that comes as part of this onSaveInstanceState. We just have to fill that, whatever state we want to save, we just have to fill that in this bundle. So okay, out state dot put, so put in, so we're gonna save an integer, the counter value is an integer, so we need a key for saving anything. So I'm going to create a key here, key counter. So it can be any random string, doesn't matter. So, and now let me store the key here, key counter with the counter value. So this, what it does is it will put this counter into this bundle, and system will take care of preserving that bundle, and it will give it back in as a bundle to the onCreate. So you might be wondering what this does, this save instance state. So this actually is the same bundle that we give here in the onSaveInstanceState. So what we do here is, so we will try to restore the value of the counter here. So so what we should do is we just have to check the save instance state is not null. So when it's not null, we have to get the bundle from there. So sorry, we have to get that in counter from there. So so we can just use it, get int. So I'm gonna assign it to the counter. So this is the default value that we can pass, so that it will return the same value if that doesn't exist, the key doesn't exist in the bundle. So we get the counter, and we're gonna run the same. So let's run this now. Just 2 lines of code, that's all we need to do. So let the counter go up a little, so that yeah, so now it's 11 approximately. So let me rotate the device now. See, it started from, it just continued from the same number. So I turned it again, see, the counter continues. So it's not it. So basically the activity got recreated, it became 0, but because we knew that we saved it here, so we restored it from the save instance state object, that from the onCreate. So that's how we recreate. Like this way you can store any number of variables which can be restored. But see, as I mentioned, so this is only meant for the cases where system recreates the activity because of some config changes or low memory cases and all. So not like on purpose destructions. Like for example, if I press back key here and come back to the same activity, it just starts from 0, not from the place where I left. But if I rotate here, So it just continues from there. Hope you understood how to save and restore the state of an activity. If you like the video, please hit the thumbs up. Thank you.